SoftClouds is a boutique CRM and CX applications and consulting services company based in San Diego, California. As an Oracle Gold partner, SoftClouds understands that CRM is not a specific software application. Rather, it is a strategy for doing business that includes your customer experience. SoftClouds is a leader in customer experience applications with a demonstrated track record of innovation. Our growing team consists of world-class experts specializing in knowledge management products. For the purpose of this webinar, SoftClouds will focus on Knowledge Advanced as a knowledge management product, including its background, how it's offered in Oracle's cloud services, and then deep dive into a competitive analysis of its features with other knowledge management products in the marketplace.
So hello again, this is Grace Kim, Customer Success Manager at SoftClouds, and I thank you for joining our webinar, Oracle Knowledge Advanced, a cloud solution for the modern customer. What we hope to achieve today is to give a very brief introduction to Oracle Service Cloud Knowledge Advanced, otherwise known as KA, and then dive right into the competitive analysis we've done here at SoftClouds, which compares KA with other similar knowledge solutions in the market today. We'll also be taking questions at the end, so if you have any questions, please type them and submit them throughout the presentation whenever they occur to you. So why did we do this study? Why did we think it was important to find out this information and share it with all of you? Well, KA is a relatively new solution in the marketplace that was introduced by Oracle just November of last year. And while it's created quite a buzz, the information available on KA and similar knowledge solutions is not available in a way that makes it easy for prospective customers of knowledge to make an informed decision. The other challenge that some of you may have already experienced is in understanding the difference between KA and KF. KF stands for Knowledge Foundation, and it's the knowledge solution that originally came packaged with Oracle Service Cloud before the emergence of KA. KA was introduced to the market as Oracle's response to customers who wanted the features of Oracle on-premise knowledge solution, but in the cloud. So Oracle took some key features from their on-premise solution and added them to a new edition of Service Cloud, which they now call Service Cloud Knowledge Advanced. As their names indicate, Knowledge Advanced offers more robust knowledge capabilities, while Knowledge Foundation offers more basic or foundational knowledge features. Both are simply different editions of Oracle Service Cloud. When your organization is considering the adoption of a knowledge tool, there are many different factors that go into making a decision about which knowledge product is right for your business. Among others, one obvious factor would be the availability of features you anticipate your users to need or want. More specifically, when you're shopping for a knowledge product, what you're likely to do is make a list of features that you know your users will need or potentially need, and then researching which products in the marketplace offer those features as part of its standard offering. We define standard offering here as the package of features that come with the product, which can be configured without any custom code. The other thing that will be important to you once you start narrowing down your choices is to gain a deeper understanding of whether the candidates you've identified offer those features in the way that you think they do. So for example, if a knowledge solution claims to have multilingual capabilities, does it offer all 15 of the languages in which you need to author your knowledge articles? Or does it offer only 9 out of those 15? Does the multilingual capabilities advertised in its data sheet even refer to the languages available for authoring content? Or does it only refer to the locales available for the authoring tools UI labels? So this example illustrates why it's not only important to read the marketing materials available on the products you're considering, but to do a deeper dive on the features that they claim they provide in order to understand in what way and in what capacity each of the features you're evaluating are offered in the products. The competitive analysis we've done on the solutions selected for this study attempts to do just that. And today we'll be sharing with you a summary of our findings to give you a better idea of how much of the evaluated features KA offers out of the box and how it stacks up against its competitors. In doing this, it should also become clear to you in what ways KA differs from the KF edition of Service Cloud. First of all, let's take a look at the methodology we used for this study. When we sat down to think about which knowledge solutions should be included in the study, we were overwhelmed by the number of choices in the market. I imagine this is what many prospective customers shopping for a knowledge solution might feel. So where does one start? Well, for the purposes of our study, we chose to adhere to three main criteria. First, we felt it was important to compare apples to apples. Since the main purpose of our study was to do a competitive analysis on Oracle Knowledge Advanced, we limited our selection to the solutions that were closest to KA. Among other things, KA is a knowledge tool that is embedded within a CRM system, and therefore we focused our study on just knowledge solutions that come integrated with a full CRM solution. On a slightly different note, but along the same vein, one of the most confusing things when shopping for a knowledge solution is in understanding what a knowledge tool is in the first place. Some knowledge tools like KA are embedded in a CRM system, as we just mentioned. And then there are others that are standalone knowledge tools, like Oracle Knowledge On-Premise. And still more, there's a third category of products that are called content management, or sometimes called document management systems. At first glance, they both sound like they might be synonyms of knowledge management, but they're not. I can't tell you how many times I've encountered this misconception of knowledge management during my career as a knowledge consultant. So what exactly are the differences? Well, there are many, especially if you start splitting hairs about the functional and technical differences the three types have. But in a nutshell, the most important differentiator is that a knowledge management system gives users the tools they need to find information on a specific question, problem, or topic. A CMS or DMS, on the other hand, has everything to do with managing and sharing the content itself, or you could even say the documents themselves. And its purpose isn't necessarily to deliver specific snippets of knowledge that answers a question or helps someone solve a problem. So in addition to limiting our study to CRM integrated knowledge solutions, we also excluded solutions that were just content management or document management systems. Our third criteria for choosing the solutions for the study was to include just those tools that belong to the same class as KA. And as you can imagine, there are various metrics and sources of information you could probably use to determine this, but we chose to go with Gartner's 2016 Magic Quadrant for the CRM Customer Engagement Center for a couple of reasons. The first reason being, Gartner has a very well-established reputation as having expertise across a wide range of IT solutions, and they're well known as well as frequently referenced in the industry. Secondly, the Gartner study includes a knowledge management solution as one of the critical capabilities of the products it analyzed. And lastly, if your goal was to purchase a knowledge solution that's embedded in a CRM solution, you're most likely doing so because you also need a good CRM solution. So from that perspective, it made sense to us to start with the CRM solutions that ranked at the top of the Gartner report and evaluated the knowledge solutions that they were packaged with. So using the Magic Quadrant, we isolated our analysis to the leaders identified in that study, which gives us, in no particular order, the following solutions: Oracle Knowledge Advanced, Oracle Knowledge Foundation, Salesforce, Pega Knowledge, and Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So here, when we talk about Microsoft Dynamics CRM, we're talking about the 2016 version that just came out this year. That is, for the first time, a knowledge product that is embedded within, Dynamics CRM and is native to that product. So I just wanted to make that distinction. I also want to point your attention here to a couple of things. The Gartner study we used primarily evaluated these solutions based on whether they were good CRM solutions across a wide variety of criteria, most of which is not specific or sometimes even relevant to a knowledge solution. Still, if you're in the market for a KM solution that's offered within a larger CRM offering, your best bet is to choose a top-ranking CRM system that also contains the most effective knowledge tool. The second thing I want to point out is that although the Magic Quadrant included Zendesk as one of the leaders, we've purposely left this product out of our study because in the study, Gartner identified Zendesk as having received, and I quote, low scores from reference customers for its knowledge management. And indeed, based on our preliminary findings, it seems fairly limited from this respect. And so we didn't think it really worthwhile to analyze and compare this product with the others. Finally, we took a look at whether any of the tools that fit all of the criteria just mentioned were also KCS Verified. For those of you who don't know what KCS is, it stands for Knowledge-Centered Support and represents a core set of principles developed by the Consortium for Service Innovation, who strives to improve the customer service experience in support organization through developing an effective knowledge practice. As it so happens, Salesforce and Oracle Service Cloud were the only two KCS Verified tools they listed as combining both knowledge management and incident management. So being KCS Verified wasn't necessarily a pass criteria for screening out the solutions, but it helped us solidify our decision to include these two solutions in our study. So now let's move on to how we analyze these solutions. Firstly, let's talk about how we selected the features for review. Based on our expert experience and exposure to a wide range of KAM products, we compiled a list of the top 50 most popular KAM features requested by customers of knowledge management solutions. These features were then grouped according to 9 categories, and each product was measured against each of those 9 categories and ranked according to their score. The scores are simply calculated as the percentage of features in each category that the solution offered and doesn't reflect the completeness or even the quality of the features the solutions contain. So I would throw in that one caveat. The idea is that once you've narrowed down your choices by broad features like this, that you then perform the due diligence in performing a deeper analysis of these features in each of your final candidates. Let's start with looking at our results for the category of authoring, which, as you might have expected, was the largest category of features. And as you can see, while KA ranked at the top with offering 94% of the features in this category, and KF trailing slightly behind, both Microsoft and Pega offered a good portion of the features on our list. But they were both missing key capabilities around things like minor versioning of articles and bulk editing of content. In general, customers with active authoring teams will most likely require that bulk editing features be available so they can bulk publish or unpublish articles or use a feature like global find and replace, which would allow an author to replace a word or phrase wherever they occur in all of their articles. Additionally, while Salesforce was the only tool that didn't offer spell checking in its authoring tool, KF was the only tool that didn't offer the ability to customize article templates. I also want to re-emphasize that Oracle KF actually came in second after KA, which really underscores the fact that though both KF and KA are Oracle Knowledge solutions, there are indeed key differences in the features they offer. So if you're considering Oracle for your next CRM plus knowledge solution, it'll be even more vital for you to understand these differences when deciding which is right for you. And finally, I just want to point your attention to the tally chart on the right-hand side. With each category we cover in this webinar, I'll be showing you a tally chart just like this one to keep track of the aggregated percentages of each solution covered so far, kind of like a horse race. And at the end, I'll be showing you a summary of our results and who the winner is. It's a global economy, and with that comes the need to provide global content to not only our employees, but your customers as well. So in the category of multilingual, KA and Salesforce were clearly the winners, with the rest trailing equally behind them. First off, the key differentiator between the leaders and the trailers was that the last 3 didn't offer a side-by-side translation feature in their authoring tool. But it's also important to note that while all the solutions offered a multilingual KMS interface, they varied in the number of languages they offered, with Microsoft offering the most languages and Pega offering the fewest. Similarly, though both Oracle and Salesforce offered the ability to author content in multiple languages, both KA and KF require you to pay additional fees for each language other than the primary. Salesforce, on the other hand, doesn't have this problem, but contains some quirkiness of its own, such as automatically publishing all translated versions when the master version is published. This actually might work fine for some folks, but for businesses that have global units whose content does not 100% overlap with the master content, this will be an issue. So again, a high-level feature analysis will get you as far as narrowing down your choices, but once you've identified your final selections, it's going to be vitally important to do your research on the details of these features. Next, a knowledge solution wouldn't be complete without the ability to search the knowledge content. In our study, we felt it would be important to include both the ability to search for knowledge from the Service Desk application and from within the authoring tool. In the category of search, the Oracle products were clearly the winners. The one key advantage that KA had over all the other solutions in this category, including KF, was its pre-configured industry-specific search dictionary, which none of the others had. There were also 3 other features that neither Salesforce, Pega, nor Microsoft had, and they were natural language search, search spell checking, and a machine learning search algorithm. Apart from these features, each product offered a widely varying range of strengths and weaknesses in the remaining areas. Now, once you've seeded your new knowledge base or your already existing knowledge base has reached a level of maturity where you're now looking to improve the quality and completeness of the content it contains, it would be impossible to accomplish this without having access to feedback from your user community. And you'll also need some smart analytics on how your knowledge base is being grown and used. So first, let's take a look at how our products fared in the category of feedback. The clear leaders here were KA and Pega. None of the other solutions offered both CRM users and customers the ability to submit text content recommendations. The worst solution from this respect was Salesforce, which didn't offer any out-of-the-box text content feedback feature. In the analytics category, Pega Knowledge was the only solution to pass all the criteria. While all the solutions offered both standard knowledge reports as well as the ability to create custom reports, Pega Knowledge had one extra feature that set it apart from the rest. It gives you the ability to track workflow data that includes where the user was when they submitted their feedback. But there is a big caveat to this. When your reporting analyst sits down to run their reports for the business units they support, the request from the business is probably not going to come in as something like, give me the click-through rate of all the users of the system for the last month. It's far more likely that the requests will be something like, give me the click-through rate of Tier 2 reps in the X business division for the last month. So as you can see, the ability to segment your data with specific categories makes a world of difference when we talk about the specificity and the level of complexity that you can incorporate into your analytics reports. In our analysis of the analytics features in each of these solutions, we found that the only solution that could offer this level of complex report filtering was KA. So although Pega Knowledge offered some atypical insight into their KB users, it offered little else in the way of having a basic segmentation of user data. Similarly, none of the other solutions other than KA provides this type of segmentation applied to content access or entitlements. And that can make it difficult for organizations who need to have multiple business groups share the same system with each other, but need to restrict each group's ability to view another group's content. Some of the common reasons why an org would want to do this would be the knowledge base contains so much content that to not restrict users' view of content would mean that too many articles that weren't relevant to them would appear in search results or when looking for content in the authoring tool. A second reason might be some of the content has specific security restrictions that must be enforced through the system's features. So in this way, a knowledge base can be segmented by groups or individuals. But when we talk about personalization, we're now talking about things like the ability to add articles to a personalized favorites or subscriptions list. Or for authors, the ability to filter the articles list by articles only authored by them. So when combining all these features into this single category, KA was the only solution that offered everything on the list. The other solutions were particularly lacking in the ability to segment users of the authoring tool to more specific values beyond something like author or approver. When we typically talk about the content that a knowledge base contains, we're talking about articles that can either be searched or navigated to by users. However, there's another category of content that isn't formally part of your knowledge repository, but is designed to integrate with either your knowledge base content or your service desk tools to aid users in quickly and more accurately responding to customers. So these can include things like custom answers that are configured to trigger depending on the context, or answers that are automatically suggested to an agent based on the details of the case they're working on. It can also be a decision tree that guides users to the correct information. Okay, but what we're talking about here is not process automation or business rules that dictate the actions of your service users, so please don't confuse the two. Here, decision trees are specifically referring to the ones that take user input in steps in order to guide them to the right answer. So in this category, again, KA was the only solution that met all of the criteria, with KF coming in at a close second. Oracle KA was also the only solution that offered managed or custom answers as a standard feature. Once you have some content in your knowledge base, there are actually a number of things on the back end that work to deliver that content to your users. So this category may be of particular interest to those of you that are admins of your knowledge system. Some of these back-end events can include things like indexing content, or when we talk about taxonomy, there's usually a classification task that runs to classify your content with the taxonomy. One of the nice things about cloud services is that it eliminates a large part or even all of the manual steps you might have to perform, if you were using an on-prem system. So things like indexing or classifying content are no longer things that you'd need to perform manually. But what we wanted to see was whether that content could also be indexed real-time. And it turns out only KF and Salesforce offered true real-time indexing. Also in the realm of content processing, and you may have heard this buzz phrase being thrown around a lot, is federated search. In other words, can your users ask a search question and have the search engine search on all of your content, including some documents you may have on your SharePoint site, or the PDFs you store on some other legacy system that you know isn't going away, or on the web pages of an intranet or internet site? Only the Oracle solutions offered federated search as a standard feature. So taking into consideration these and other features in this category, our analysis placed the two Oracle products at the top. Here's our last category on our list, versatility and flexibility. So what things are we talking about here? This category includes things like whether there is an on-premise as well as a cloud option, or whether the UI has a responsive design. So for those of you hearing the phrase responsive design for the first time, it means that, for example, if I choose to work on a tablet rather than a PC, I can still see my applications and not have a part of the page disappear or buttons not working because I'm not on a full screen monitor. The other thing we looked at was whether the solution was multi-channel, meaning is knowledge integrated with things like email or chat or any other multimedia forum where I can share my knowledge content with customers or other users. So in the category of versatility and flexibility, Microsoft and Pega were the clear leaders, with the rest trailing equally behind them. And the one feature that the last three solutions were lacking was the availability of an on-premises platform. That may be of concern to some of you, but maybe not of any concern to the rest of you. So just wanted to point that out. So having covered the last category in the study, let's take a look at the results. Ta-da! If you hadn't already figured it out, by tracking the tally graphs, Oracle KA was the winner of this race. Now, if you were to only look at the tally chart, it might seem like it was a close race. But if you take a look at the count of the total number of first place wins for each solution, Oracle KA is undeniably leagues above the rest, with placing first in 7 out of the 9 categories. These numbers reflect that the degree to which KA provides support in these feature categories is probably far higher than the other solutions. And if that wasn't enough, the future roadmap for KA seems loaded with even more new features. I'm not going to talk to all of these features at the risk of sounding boring as I rattle off a laundry list of features, so I'll just point to 2 of the features that got me the most excited. The first one is a knowledge portal for agents. Currently, the search capabilities for agents only exists inside the service application, which primarily serves as a means for agents to close incidents. The implication of that is that the agents don't necessarily see what exactly the customers see. And so again, I'm talking about Service Cloud here. So in Service Cloud's case, this also means that some of the knowledge features integrated into the customer portal application isn't available in the agent experience. So it would be exciting to see a portal that agents can also access. And I'm curious to see what features will be available there. The second feature that got me really excited is sample code for generic migration. So before you start checking out, because it's starting to sound too technical, let me explain to you what this means to you as a business implementing a knowledge solution. Content migration, meaning you're moving content from your old knowledge system to a new one, is a notoriously difficult effort. And that's because somebody, like a programmer, has to write code that maps your existing content to your new system before the content can even be moved over. And then more code to actually move the content. The more difficult this process is, the more consulting dollars you're going to spend because someone will have to write custom code to perform the migration. So if Oracle releases code snippets that can alleviate some of the effort in this process, that's going to mean less money out of pocket for you when you implement your new system, which is always nice. So moving on from the KA product roadmap, now that I've presented a competitive analysis of KA as a knowledge solution embedded in a CRM system, I thought it worthwhile to make some additional comments before we move on to the next topic. First, this study was focused just on the availability of specific features, which we hand-selected based on our consulting experience and certainly doesn't contain every possible feature out there. There may be some that's important to your organization that may not have been included in our study. So in order to mitigate this to some degree, we did try to capture a large number of features, making it more likely that many of the features on our list will overlap with any of those found on a prospective customer's list. The second thing I want to point out is regarding the scoring. The scores in our study wasn't weighted at all on the importance level of the features with respect to the customer. Well, it's pretty obvious why we didn't do that or couldn't do that, since this study wasn't meant for only one customer. But it is a factor you should consider if you're seriously on the market for a knowledge solution. Why? Because you might have identified a solution as offering most of the features on your list, but if there are one or more features that your organization must have, it won't matter how many of the features on your list a solution can offer. You may be forced to choose another solution that offers the one you've identified as a must-have. There are also some other factors you might consider when looking for a knowledge solution. For example, as we mentioned a couple of times already, there may be some specific functionality of a feature that doesn't quite match what your requirements demand. So going back to the multilingual example again, if a solution supports 46 languages, but it doesn't include the one you really need, it won't matter how many other languages it can support because it won't meet your requirements. Budget might be another factor. and in most cases it is. Like one recent prospect of K put it, you don't want to keep looking at a Mercedes-Benz when all you can afford is to buy a Hyundai. I didn't say that, they did. Cloud or on-premise? Your organization might have some strict requirements about whether the solution has to be in the cloud or must be on-premise. And next, adding a customer portal. To keep the study purely focused on knowledge capabilities, we purposely left out this very important part of the self-service experience because it does start getting into a slightly different category of features. So it's still one that many businesses will consider as an essential one, and much of our decision may be swayed by whether the CRM plus knowledge solution can offer an easy way to stand up a customer portal, and also what features that application can offer. The last one here on the list, integration with existing or future technologies, is one I'd like to spend just a few more minutes talking about, and that is integration with any of the sort of existing technologies that you may have in your business today. I've never worked with a customer that was implementing a knowledge solution where that solution was the first and only IT solution their organization has ever implemented. Everybody has some kind of IT system that supports their business. But it's not always the case that you're going to need to integrate your knowledge system with your existing systems. Still, based on my experience, it is more likely than not. So I wanted to share with all of you an interesting example of a knowledge integration that SoftClouds has created recently. So the image here is showing an integration between Oracle Service Cloud and Salesforce. More specifically, Oracle Service Cloud Knowledge Advanced and Salesforce. So I call this an interesting example because, as we've stated earlier, Oracle Service Cloud and Salesforce are both CRM systems, and therefore offer a very similar set of features and applications for some use cases, for the same use cases. So why would any business want to do this? So it's probably clear to you by now, having listened in on this webinar, that Salesforce is in fact not a very strong contender on the knowledge front. It does have many other strengths, as made obvious by Gartner's high placing of this product as a leader in the CRM space. But in knowledge, there are in fact many more limitations than I had time to cover in today's webinar. So for an organization that's using Salesforce, but that has a more demanding set of requirements for knowledge that go beyond the basics, KA can be an attractive addition to their existing system. So to go back to the screenshot here, what you're seeing is a view of a case in Salesforce. So let's suppose now that a customer calls in to get help on an issue, and the agent opens this case for them. The agent can now, from the case itself, click on the Find Articles button to get more information on how to resolve the issue. Immediately following the click, a set of relevant results return in the same section in the case where the agent hit the Find Articles button. And so how did the search engine know what content was relevant to this case? What it's done is it's actually grabbed the text from the subject line of this case, and it's used it to submit an initial search for the agent. So in this way, it attempts to reduce some effort on the part of the agent by allowing them to search without typing in any search terms initially. Now, supposing that after having read the article, that the agent found the answer she was looking for to close the case. She can then create a link to the article within the case before closing it. And why would she want to do that? So first of all, it's entirely possible that the agent may need to view more than one article to resolve the issue. Inserting a link in the case gives the agent a way to keep a case history on the research she's already done on this case. So this will also be useful because she won't ever have to search for that article again in case she needs to reference back to it. Secondly, linking articles to cases provides invaluable insight for content managers to understand the quality of content by studying metrics like how many times an article has been linked to a case. Sometimes we call that reuse count. They can then use that data to continually improve the quality of content in their knowledge base. And the best part is, if you are a Salesforce shop and all of your And all you want is really for your users to see a Salesforce UI and not have to see an Oracle UI. You actually can have that. As you can see in the screenshot, all of the KA data is accessible from Salesforce reports, so the end user won't ever be able to tell the difference. Okay, so now that we're nearing the end of the presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about SoftClouds and our capabilities. SoftClouds is a technical consulting company that specializes in delivering consulting and implementation services for Oracle products and other non-Oracle products. So here's a list of the various Oracle products that we specialize in. And below that are a list of customers. And I have to say this is sort of a subset of the customers because it was a bit hard to include the entire list here on one slide. But they are a list of customers that we've had the fortune to have worked with. And as you can see, our experience expands a variety of industries. And specifically around KA, we offer a variety of professional services from initial implementation to more custom development work, as well as a host of ad hoc and strategic consulting services.
This concludes our webinar on Oracle Knowledge Advanced, a solution for the modern customer, and we hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions about this webinar, or would like to know more about SoftClouds and our unparalleled expertise with Oracle Service Cloud Knowledge Advanced, you can reach us at info@softclouds.com. Upon request, we can also provide a live demo of Knowledge Advanced integrations with other Oracle Cloud or on-premise solutions, and even integrations with other non-Oracle products, such as Salesforce.com, and much more. We love sharing our success stories with customers and partners, and continue to strive to turn our real-world consulting experiences into thought leadership that adds value to your business.